We are in the middle of a huge spiritual upgrade on the planet. We are experiencing, as an entire peoples, we are experiencing a huge psychic activation. And if you have sensed that you have gifts coming online and you want to make sure that you're activating on what's being offered to you, then this video is for you. And what's really important about that is you also want to make sure that you're using the gifts that are being activated so that you're not falling into old patterns, which will keep you in old timelines. You may have been hearing that we've got timeline jumps coming upon timeline jumps, and that is absolutely happening. I'm seeing it to clients across the board. And what is separating those that are jumping quicker and experiencing breakthroughs and being able to leap above challenges that have held them back before is the ability to lean into the new gifts that they're being offered. Hey, I'm Patty Lennon. I'm an intuitive. I also work with clients to help them open up to their own gifts. And in this video, I want to share with you what is likely happening for you and how to utilize these activations and these upgrades so that you can have more ease, so that you can have more forward momentum in your life. We all want that, right? So the first thing is that you are likely sensing something different. And what I mean by that is you're perceiving things differently. You're perceiving things at a different level of intensity. It's possible that you may be knowing things, and it's also possible that you may be feeling things. Two different things. One is up here, one's in your heart center, in your body. It can happen in any number of ways. It's important to not get attached to what your gifts look like or what your gifts, plural, look like. For instance, I have seen people who had zero psychic abilities suddenly having future prophetic visions. That's one gift. I know someone else who was very grounded, very earthy, again, did not have a lot of access to intuitive gifts, had some sensory stuff going on, but nothing that they could rely on time and time again. And now, when they walk into a room, they know what every person is feeling. And for those of us who are empaths, our hearts go out to those who are having new empathic gifts open up, because if you are coming online with empathic gifts and you don't have a history of that, it can be really overwhelming. So what can you do? The first thing is to understand that just because you have gifts opening up does not mean you are required to share those gifts with other people. And what I mean by that is you may be having visions, you may be having feelings. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have to share that with other people or you have to do something with those gifts to help other people. If that is the journey you're on, to be a helper, to be a healer with your gifts, you will receive concrete information in the ways of signs, in the way of spirit communication, in the way of things hitting you right between the eyes where you can't ignore it. But what sometimes happens to people when they have new gifts come online is, first of all, they're pretty magical, so that's kind of fun, but there's this desire to offer them to other people. I'm going to suggest that you keep them to yourselves at first as you learn to understand them and to work with them. Even if you have a knowing that you're here to be a healer or a helper, it is better to learn to work with your gifts and manage your gifts in a way that you fully understand them before you start sharing them with other people. And even when you do move into a point in time, if you move into a point in time where you're sharing them with people, you want to get permission for that sharing. So let's say you are that person with the prophetic visions, or you are that person that's feeling what someone else is feeling. The way that you can go about sharing that with permission is to say to the person, hey, I'm getting a piece of information for you intuitively. Are you comfortable with me sharing that with you? Or I feel like I got a message for you intuitively. You want to be clear about, it didn't just come through the mail. Um, Would it be okay if I shared it with you? Getting that permission opens up a space for honest and in integrity communication. So, getting back to how to work with these gifts, the first thing to do is to have a check in process with yourself daily. So, when you get up in the morning, checking in and making sure that you have a solid connection to the divine, to God, to source, to spirit, to universe, whatever your essence of where these gifts are coming from or how they connect to you. Running a line of communication, running a line of connectivity. And then, secondly, grounding, running a line of communication to Mother Earth. And if you need help doing that, I do have a prayer that I put together that brings in both that connection and also protection. You can get that at pattylennon.com/prayer. You can also just drop a comment below prayer and I'll give you the link down there. So that's one way that you can have a little assistance with this if you're brand new to that. The second thing you want to be doing is you want to be putting some protections around yourself. You want to be putting some protections around yourself. And if you want help doing that, comment protect below and I'll give you some resources for doing that. The third thing you want to do is you want to connect to your breath. And you want to connect to your breath in a way where you can feel your breath moving through your entire body, that you can feel the line of energy that connects you to your gifts running through your energy body. And breath is the tool that lets us do that. It is the tool that both connects us to the humanity that we are, but it is also to the divinity we are. Angels once told me the best way to open up to angelic messages is to breathe more deeply because they are able to move messages within you through oxygenated blood. So the more oxygenated your blood is, the clearer you will be. That kind of makes sense because when we breathe and we breathe deeply, we have clearer heads to begin, right? Then the final thing you want to do is you want to have a practice of engaging your gifts that is meaningful for you. And what I mean by that is to have a journal or have some place to capture a record of this is what is happening to me. Here's what I think it means. And now I'm going to watch to see if there's any other signs or feedback that will help me understand how to utilize what I'm getting. What I have found is consistently documenting, consistently paying attention to not just the feelings and the energy and the information that's coming through, but also how the rest of your day plays out. Any awarenesses you come to can really help you more deeply connect to the gifts you're being offered. Now, as I said, it is better to learn to work with your gifts before you start sharing them openly with others so that you are grounded in the way they work and how to utilize them and how to offer them in a way that's both respectful to yourself and to others. The place, however, that you can immediately start applying them is to yourself and to your own journey. As I said, we're going through a huge psychic activation, a huge spiritual upgrade. So you are not alone in this. This is happening to every single person on the planet. Now, some people are completely denying this, and that is fine. That is their path to walk, and that is their journey, and that is for their work with their own spirit guides and their angels. And they have helpers that are assisting them in opening to possibility. You have opened to possibility because you're listening this far. And so some points that I want you to consider is as you're considering the challenges that are ahead of you or the decisions, come within and see before you make a decision, before you agree to anything, before you take a step forward, what is your intuition telling you? What is your inner knowing telling you? Because your intuition, your inner knowing is at the heart of all gifts. So we all have this intuitive knowing within us. Many of us were taught to ignore it when we were growing up, but we have it. We came with it. We were birthed with it. It is the essence of our divinity. And it is from that intuitive knowing that other gifts emerge and are born from. So, for instance, you have this inner knowing and you may have prophetic vision, and that is a knowing of what is right for you, and then also a seeing of what is coming, right? Or you have this knowing of yourself, and then when you're around others, you are able to perceive emotions or perhaps feelings or physical problems or physical states of being. All of it is rooted inside of your intuition, your knowing. So as you move forward, checking in with your knowing and making choices from there, as opposed to your mind, your overthinking, your fear brain, trusting what comes from within your inner knowing, as opposed to what your fear brain is driving you to do, is going to do a couple of things. It's going to help you root more clearly in your psychic gifts that are being activated. It will help them come online more quickly because it will build more faith and more trust in those gifts. And then furthermore, when you're operating from this inner knowing, you're operating from love as opposed to fear. And right now, that is what this timeline is about, that we're all in. And this is why many people are finding that they're jumping timelines. This jump in timelines is moving from a state of being to having your light be what it is, and then moving into a state that is of a higher vibration, that is of a more loving vibration. The easiest way, I get questions all the time, how do I jump timelines? How do I jump timelines? The easiest way to jump timelines is to be making more decisions based on love. And your gifts are going to help you do that. So by doing the work to ground yourself, connect with the divine, connect with the earth, protect yourself, and then be watching your gifts and using them to make decisions for yourself, what you're going to find is your gifts are going to rise up. They're going to come online. They're going to show themselves to you in ways that are going to be completely magical and fun. And the best part of all this is they're going to help you shift upwards onto timelines with more love. And what happens in timelines with more love is you're experiencing less events that are bringing fear because the birthing of the fear doesn't even exist. So if you are ready to move forward with this upgrade that's happening, use the suggestions I've made here. And certainly, if you're having experiences that are confusing to you or you need help working with, drop a comment below. I promise I will come back here and I will give you whatever I can give you in terms of resources and advice to make the journey easier. And I remember, you have spirit guides, you have angels, you have so many helpers that are walking alongside you. Be asking for help in working with your gifts. Be asking for help in making more choices from love. If you put the comments of prayer or protect below, I will give you resources to call in that divine connection and also to protect your energy each day. As you do that, I think what you'll find is so much magic is showing up for you. And if the time that we're in, the chaos that we're in, has really felt overwhelming or tumultuous or hard, and I get it, I'm with you. What I can promise you is the more you lean into these gifts and the more you allow them to guide you, what you will find is that the chaos isn't so hard to deal with as it is exciting. And that excitement is really going to birth miracles in and of itself. Have a beautiful day, and certainly comment below and tell me what I can do to help you, because that's what I'm here for. Finally, make sure you subscribe to my channel below and put the little button to get notified, because I will be doing more pop-up lives. I will be offering live readings and answering questions, and I'll be doing it spontaneously. So I'll be doing it when spirit moves me. And the best way to figure that out is to subscribe and get notifications so you know when I'm live. Have a beautiful day.